think a lot of people are waking up to traditional values and to the way that things used to be for hundreds and thousands of years. And that is men providing and protecting and women nurturing and caring, right? So for so long, we have strayed away from these values into this modern society in which success is glamorized, in which just money and individuality and all of these things are glamorized, which, don't get me wrong, there are pros to that. You know, we have developed in a lot of ways, and I also commend the growth that we have made as a society in terms of giving women more rights, the right to vote, and all of these things. But the inherent difference between men and women is just completely ignored. And so in today's video, I wanted to talk about what makes men and women different biologically and how this innate nature is hardwired for us to be in these traditional marriages and these traditional dynamics. And so if you look at the male and the female reproductive system, right? And if you look at our sex organs, let's just compare for a moment sperm and eggs. Okay, think of how much sperm a man is able to produce, and he's basically able to produce this amount for the entirety of his life, right? Once he's hit puberty. And so his supply is like almost infinite. It's almost never ending. But when you look at the female reproductive system, you would find that there's a very limited amount of eggs. There's a very limited amount of sex cells that are able to be used to reproduce. So right off the bat, there's an inherent difference, and that difference gives women a timeline. Right? Women have this timeline in which after that timeline, their sex cells are not as healthy. They're not as abundant. They're not as easy to come by. And so what does that mean? Well, it means that not only is a woman on an entirely different timeline than a man, but her eggs, in a way, are a lot more hard in terms of the resources that it requires from her body. We all know what women go through every month, you know, their cycle, and there's a lot of strain on a woman's body, you know, throughout puberty, throughout childbirth, and all of these things, and our body is just growing in such different ways in order to help us conceive a child, whereas a man has this steady flow of testosterone almost daily, and his hormones are not fluctuating in the same way that women's hormones are. Okay, so not only does this mean that women are not hardwired to be on a 40-hour work schedule, they are not hardwired to have the same workload day in and day out. They are not hardwired to be able to just go, go, go in the way that a man is. And time again, studies have shown that women require more sleep than men, that women require, you know, different things depending on the week, depending on their cycle, right? Even in terms of their diet, even in terms of their exercise. Like, if a woman was to do weightlifting or some very intense workout on the week of her period, it actually causes her cortisol levels to spike, and it actually might mean that she puts on weight. So right then and there, you can see our bodies are biologically designed differently, okay? And when we look at these differences, we will find that women are the more sacred gender in the sense that their sex cells are not as easy to come by, they're not as abundant, and they require more resources because we are the physically less strong gender. And put that on top of us having sex cells that require a lot of energy and input and resources, that means that when we are making the decision with who to mate with who to marry, with who to invest our time into, we need to be much more selective. Men are able to make mistakes and, you know, have a baby with a woman who maybe they don't see that future with, because they're not the ones who have to carry the baby. They're not the ones whose body is going to be completely transformed during childbirth. They aren't the ones who are going to be taking on that physical stress that a woman would need during pregnancy. So they are able to choose based on looks. They are able to choose based on beauty. They are able to choose based on how someone makes them feel. But unfortunately, that same thing is not true for women. And so the problem that I see nowadays is a lot of women are dating as if they're men. They're dating men based on their height, based on their looks, based on things that show no evidence of them being good providers and good protectors. So what happened to our values? What happened to women judging a man by how she deems him as being a good future father, a good hunter, you know? Men are not out hunting nowadays, but they are in their own right. They're going to work. They're pursuing opportunities. They are working on their knowledge and their skill set so that they're able to earn more money and become more resourceful and useful. And so it is completely natural for a woman to judge a man based on the things that we have been judging them on for thousands of years. Why is it that we are called gold diggers? I honestly don't even get offended by that anymore, because I'm like, yeah, that's how humans have dated for thousands of years. So now all of a sudden you're telling me that the script has changed? Because last time I checked, you still require resources in order to live in comfort, to live in peace. And as a woman, it is vital that her basic needs are met in order for her to flourish, in order for her to bring her best feminine self and to nurture. A woman who has been working all week, who is burnt out, who has kids to take care of at home, and no support, she is not going to be bringing you the care and the nurturing and all the things that a true masculine man deserves. So think about this. If you are a man watching this and for some reason you have this idea that, oh, I shouldn't provide, I shouldn't have to do this, well, just know that then you will probably attract a woman who isn't going to cook you nice meals, who isn't going to ensure that your home is clean and tidy and organized. She isn't going to want to rub your back at the end of a long day. You're probably going to attract a woman who's nagging, who's pissed at you, who's annoyed. Because guess what? Until a woman is truly at peace and truly feels in her heart that she is safe, that her income and her resources are stable, that she can actually trust you and rely on you, until she feels all these things, she is not going to be giving you the feminine energy and the feminine essence that you desire and that you deserve. And on the other hand, if you're a woman and you're watching this, remember, if you are only prioritizing success and material goods and things that society tells you are important, then don't be confused when you are not able to create your dream family, when you are trying to reproduce and it's too late, when you want to be this great mom, but you choose to hire a nanny instead, and then your child and you are just not connecting in the same way that another mother would, who is literally at home with her kid and giving her kid that skin-to-skin connection. I've been reading a lot about just how babies latch onto their mothers, and it is amazing. I'm learning a lot of things that I didn't know before, such as the fact that pregnancy is actually 4 trimesters, and the 4th one is when the baby has actually already been birthed. And in this stage, the baby still psychologically thinks that it's attached to the mother, okay? So the baby literally needs the mother's skin and comfort and to be able to hear her heartbeat to be able to regulate itself. And if that baby is just thrown in a crib or with a nanny, it is not given the same advantages in life. Those first 2 months are vital, and if women do not have that peace and luxury of being with their child and giving their baby the love and the attention that it deserves, then they are going to be forming children that have anxious attachment styles. And unfortunately, that's what's been going on lately, is a lot of women are choosing to invest in the workplace instead of the home, and then we wonder why marriages are failing. We wonder why nobody is choosing to reproduce. We wonder why nobody is getting married. And it's because both men and women have lost their roles. They have gotten confused. Society has literally just completely gotten them off the track, which is the track that they're meant to be on. And that track says that women are the best caregivers. That is their role. They literally have the genes that make them want to nurture and care for and love and feed their families. And men have those genes that are wired for action, that are wired for achievement, that are wired for pursuing and obtaining their goals. And when we lose sight of these goals that God has set in place for us, we end up in a world where we have just completely lost the true meaning of life, which is to come together in divine union and to be able to really tune into our own energy, because we are being supported by that other energy, right? Yin and yang, masculine and feminine, light and dark. We need these things to coexist in order for there to be balance. Okay, so I studied biology in university, and I learned so many things that I am just fascinated by, and I would love to share more with you guys in how the human body, and literally at the DNA level, we are shown all these hints as to what our true nature is, what our true calling is. And you can see it with animals, right? Like men, you know, in so many different species will have different mating calls or different dances or different things that they do to attract women, because women are the weaker sex. They are the sex that is more luxurious. They are the sex that requires more. And so it is the men who are showing off and competing, and it is the women who are choosing the bird or, you know, the lion or the whatever animal is out there that is able to hunt, that has, you know, the best nest, that has these things and resources to offer. And so humans are no different. We might have homes instead of nests. We might have bank accounts instead of, you know, our hunting history, but it's all the same. So don't lose sight of these differences, and I hope that this explanation gave you a more scientific view as to how we are different and how we can coexist and thrive with each other. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.